What up, friends? I'm Robin Black, and this is the home studio. And very quickly, this is called Fighting is About Fighting number 16. I don't get it all correct. I'm very imperfect. When we started, we were white belts. So this actually isn't all that much about fighting. It's philosophical. The topic is philosophical. And it's about ideas and about the journey. So if that's not for you, I always throw that out there at the beginning because wasting people's time, I already take a long time to do things. So what fighting is about fighting, Fighting is About Fighting 16. Very first thing we did on this YouTube channel in March of 2017. So now we're going on 14 months ago now. And we sat down and said, we don't know where we're going. And we don't know how to get there. We don't know what we'll do when we get there, but we're going to just go. We're going to go start. And so Fighting is About Fighting was going to be our little segment where we go in and anything we learned by trial and error, by experimentation, by studying, by success and failure, we thought we'll share it. People are very interested in process and processes today. I am. See, a lot of people are, and I imagine there's a lot of reasons for that. You know, it is something I see a lot when I'm sniffing around YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and so forth, is that people are sharing under the hood now. So once upon a time, we would, you'd see the news or you'd see a cooking show, and they would eat and they'd tell you it was great. Now they teach you how to cook. Now, if you're a fan of a cooking show, they will show you the recipe and they will discuss it in detail. So showing the process, I think, is something that some people are interested in. So in the last 14 months, when I think about it, it's been definitely the biggest, most growth-filled segment of my life so far. Mark, would you say similarity for you? Yeah, we didn't know how to do any of this stuff, and now we have a YouTube channel with 25,000 subscribers and 2 or 3 million views altogether, and we make 1-minute breakdowns and log form segments and all these things. I just got back from going to see Joe Rogan again, which was amazing, and I guess the most important thing is we're looking to grow every day, growing every day. What's the point of the day? Well, maybe we're going to make a YouTube video, or we're going to examine something, or we're going to make a 1-minute video, or we're going to negotiate something with someone in our little world over here. But the root undertone is we're going to learn something. Because if we accomplish a small thing every day, that's great. We accomplished that thing. But if we got better at accomplishing the next things, you can see that the exponential thinking here, right? Do one thing every day. 10 days later, you did 10 things. But do those 10 things and each day get a little better at them. Each one will be that much better or bigger or faster, or you'll learn more, or whatever the goal is. So that's been the trip. That's been what we've been about. I'm going to just take these 5 or 10 minutes to fill you in on where we're at, what we're doing, and what we're hoping to do next. So if you didn't see, I was on Joe Rogan's JRE MMA Show a couple days ago. George St. Pierre was on a couple days after. George is the greatest. Those two are two of my very favorite people. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet because it was a flight back and a thing and then another thing. And we've been making but not consuming lately. And we'll talk about that maybe in a second too. But it's awesome, man. Like Joe is a very generous thinker too. Not just like, hey, come down here and have some coffee and hang out and chat with me here in a place where lots of people will hear your ideas. But he's a generous thinker. He gives you good ideas. He points you in interesting directions. He encourages an idea, and this is what the art of being a conversationalist is. I don't know if interviewer. I don't think Joe's an interviewer. Joe's not an interviewer, right? Yeah, it's a conversationalist. So as I'm there, we're talking about ideas. We're sharing ideas and exploring ideas. I'm also trying to study him. I told him about traveling and doing a documentary with George. People ask about it a lot. It's called The Mind of GSP. Google it. I'm not sure where you can find it, but it's out there. And how when I got to be around George and had the gift of being invited to be around him and friendship and sharing of things, I wanted to study him. How does he do things? Why does he do things? So I spent a little time trying to study Joe, although with Joe, you get in there pretty deep, pretty quick, and it's going to be it's a give and take, sharing, push and pull type of conversation. So you don't get a lot of time to go, how is he sitting and what did he do there? And also, Joe finds ways to make things work heuristically. Puts them out there, explores until he gets great at things. It's fascinating. That's maybe the great thing to watch from Joe. And don't get me wrong, when you see him do his show, I'm sure he's rehearsed it absurdly to get to the point that he doesn't have to think about it. But at the same time, and I'm talking about comedy or anything else he does, at the same time, I think a big part of why he's good at the things that he is he gets to the point where he has the self-confidence to just explore. And I don't have children, but my friends who have children, and when I get a chance to watch them, they're just trying to work it out. Like they're just trying, exploring things. And we sort of teach that out of them. And I think some of the greats at things, some of the people who are doing some very special types of thinking are still doing that childlike exploration. And I think on some level, Joe's doing that. And although it would be, so many thousands of generations and layers past childlike, but it's the same root. Try it. What does it taste like, smell like, look like? What does it feel like? Trust your instincts. So you learn that from being around him too. But he's a very incredibly generous and smart, and he's a good friend. And he has a lot of friends. So, when he's able to be generous with you when, you're not one of the 10 people or 20 people that he sees on a regular basis. That's an inspiring thing. Think about that. There are people that you have a couple hours with here, or a little bit of business with there, or a little bit of family with, or some connection through a family member, the cousin of the guy who's married to your sister or whatever. When you get the chance to talk to them, you can be all in on it. It's very very interesting idea. One of the things I talked to him about on his show was watching him interact with hundreds of fans over hours. And that's what he does with them too. When you go to one of his shows and you meet him, you see like he's locked right the fuck in there. And that isn't just for you. That's a level of focus and concentration that we can all access. And it's a focus and concentration, like I said, that we can all access and we can all develop it. And I think we get more out of things. We learn more. We connect more when we do it. I just read a book that I loved, and it's called Focus. I'm recommending it now. Called Focus by Daniel Goleman. And it examines how you develop focus and the different kinds of focus, the different types, inner, outer, and other. Inner focus. So how do I feel? Why did I do that? How could I be better at that? Inner focus. Outer focus, the world around you. What's going on over there? Is that light on? Is this thing on? Did we turn it off? What's the flavor in this? Like outer focus. And then other. How does other as in other than yourself? How does he feel right now? What does she think? When she seems angry, what is she really afraid of? Those types of focus. It's a fascinating book. Recommend it so highly. Daniel Goleman, or Goleman, Goleman, Focus. So I thought of that a little bit. Fantastic book. And I had some of that cross my mind a little while I was talking to Joe. And when you wonder why Joe, and again, I haven't had a chance to fully take in Joe and GSP yet, but why does something deeper seem to be happening there? This is what happens when higher levels of focus bring together. Why is Connor able, and I know some of you hate him, that's fine. Why is Connor able to perform in that level and it stresses others? Something happening with the focus, right? So I got some of that out of Joe there, that maybe one of the superpowers of these people is Joe better than everybody at doing comedy? Well, yeah. But is he a better commentator than everyone? Yeah, kind of. Is he in better shape? I mean, there's a lot of great fucking things happening. And there's a lot of examples of these. Many of the people that we watch, and we follow and we study is The Rock. Has he somehow become a great, brilliant actor? Was he a brilliant performer in the world of professional wrestling? Is he in sick fucking shape? Is he funny? And why are these people capable of those things? Partly it can be focus. Through being highly in tune with their moments, they're able to get more out of their moments. They're able to get more out of that workout. They're able to get more out of that hour with somebody. They're able to get more out of that conversation. Yeah, it's like being in the zone all the time. And it is connected. So the zone is partly a biochemical flow state. Interestingly, something else I talked to Joe about in the very first time that we sat down on his JRE show. But flow is the state of optimal performance, and focus and flow are deeply connected. So I got some of that out of Joe. But while we're talking, and I just wanted to check in, because some of you guys have been with us for that entire 14 months, and some of you were consuming stuff I did at Fight Network and years ago. And so this one feels like a time where rather than talk about, the next fight or, go deep down a rabbit hole of martial arts, I can just tell you what's happening. And thank you for coming along. And thank you for being so always fucking encouraging me and being enthusiastic about stuff and debating things. But another heads up, something people have been asking me about a lot. I sent out a tweet that said something along the lines of that me and Dan Hardy have been discussing doing a weekly podcast together. And that Brendan Schaub, we were exploring having it come out on his platforms, his YouTube channel, his Stitcher, his SoundCloud, his iTunes, his channels. And as of this recording, we are having very positive, let's do this style of conversations about it, right? So Dan's like, yes, mate. I'm like, I'll take care of this stuff and make this happen for us. You get ready. I know you're busy. You get ready to fucking murder it every week with me, and I'll do the same. Mark and I will go and explore the making of it happen here. Chin, what up, Chin? I almost gave him the finger. I was going to give him this, and somehow I was like, motion. Dude, like, I don't know where that came from. I was suddenly going to throw the bird at Chin. Love you, man. So I've had this conversation already with Chin before. Brendan and I are right in the middle of it right now. But it feels like when everybody's reasonable, nobody's looking to get rich. This is not what this is about. Everybody's motivated to do it. So it feels like the kind of thing that is likely to happen in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. I don't know how long it takes to set these things up. Mark's got to technically make it happen. Chin's got to find how to schedule it on his front. Brendan's got to just be handsome. Dan and I got to prep to bring this together and make it something meaningful. But all this is in process. So very, very stoked about that. Dan, I think, is somebody that I can really like. Not only can we share ideas, which we will, I think I have the right questions. Now, I'm not going to interview him, but a part of finding the depth and finding something in a way that is easy to explain yet interesting is maybe me asking the right questions. Not like a one person ask, another person answer. That's not what we do. That's not what podcasting is. That's not where the sharing ideas is. But just every now and then to kind of peel it back, hey, because I know Dan's got all kinds of brilliant experience, different perspective. The way that he connects his mind and his body is fascinating, and the way he sees the world and all of those things. And I shouldn't just talk about my questions. He will have questions for me. He will have thoughts to bounce off me. And this is what happens, is this tennis game or ping pong game or handball game or whatever, fucking badminton, whatever you want to call it. We're back and forth, push, pass, offer, no way, yes. And Joe is very good at this, obviously. 1,200 fucking podcasts plus another 100 plus hundreds of fight companions and stuff. where he'll ask or bring up an idea or toss you a ball, and you'll throw something out, and then he'll open up doors for you to go down. He won't push you, but he'll open up a door as you bring up an idea, and especially and it was very kind of him. He was talking about the way I think, and he's like, I think you would be well-tempered with somebody like me, meaning him. And I was like, yeah, well, yes. And secondly, the fact that, you would even entertain that idea is pretty cool. But he will open doorways for you. So as you're thinking this direction, so what's over there? And you can go down that doorway and then another. And that's where interesting things are found. When you go down your own rabbit holes, and it is fun, and it is thrilling, and it is revealing, and those are the risks you have to take to find something of depth. But you also need an audience, and we have one, but it's not for everybody. And I'm thankful for the people who like to explore ideas this way. You need to bring an audience with you who likes those twists and turns. And when you go down an idea hallway and you get to the end, something I was talking about Dwayne Ludwig and his exploration of ideas is you go all the way down something for weeks and months, re-examining it, only to find out that it does not work. That's what we do to some degree. But Joe, I think sometimes can just open another door and, okay, that may or may not work. I don't know in this short term of this conversation, it's worth the coin flip to find out, but this certainly is. And he will lead you down there. So I think Dan and I can play that with each other, and we have different perspectives, yet we're both so passionate and love the martial arts, but also in different ways. He's got a nice, serene calmness to him, too. He's got a nice, mellow, at peace type of enthusiasm, which is probably very handy off of me. And I may be the guy to get him worked up sometimes and him the guy to calm me down others. And who knows? We have had conversations about martial arts for pleasure, the two of us. And I've done one or two with him on Fight Network that were shot. And it was good. And it'll be good. And Brendan's the fucking man. And with Mark and Chin, and they'll work great together. I think this will happen. And if it doesn't, this is how things work. You try, you explore. Something changes. All of a sudden, I'm in fucking Singapore. Now it's a 8-hour difference between me and Dan. And Mark is in Canada, and that's a 12-hour. Doesn't mean it can't be done. You find ways to do it. But who knows? Right now, it feels like we'll be doing this. It does. And if Shab's so busy, or Chin suddenly fucking, gets 3 new girlfriends at the same time, or who knows, or Mark gets a boyfriend to add to his girlfriend. No, he has a girlfriend and he's straight. Never mind. Then who knows? Things change, but regardless, I think we'll make this work, and I think it's going to be worth it, and I think it's going to be exciting. We're going to shoot shortly after this. It'll be up probably within the next 18 hours or so. We're going to shoot maybe 24 hours. We're going to shoot the study of martial arts, but the things I learned from being at one championship and being in Singapore. It'll be a study of martial arts, but also a study of things you learn from travel too, because that shapes your martial journey. Anything else we have been doing or should be doing, or? Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. That's a good point. Yeah. So among the other things we've done in the last 14 months is we built a one-man show. My friend Graham Isidore is a playwright and a storyteller and a journalist and others. And he helped me craft it. And we've done a number of them. The next one is in Ireland, Dublin, Ireland, on the 22nd of June. If you're in the area and you want to come to my show, it's storytelling and a bit of comedy and some laughs, and I'll have John Kavanagh as my guest to chat with him. It is on my Instagram page, at Robin Black MMA. The link is in the bio for that, okay? And then after that, I'll be in Toronto for 8 shows in 11 days from July 4th to the 15th. Toronto Film Fringe Festival, and then July 27th we will be in Calgary. July 28th in Calgary is the UFC. On the 27th we'll be doing Robin Black Live there. And just to give you the insight, it's fun as hell to do. You get to see real people. You get to tell some stories and share a real thing, and it is fucking fabulous. But it also connects in a nice way that it gives you something to do on a Friday night. On Saturday, I can go interview, cover the fights. On Thursday, we can cover, do some interviews. On Sunday, Eddie Alvarez. Anyone who know Eddie Alvarez? Eddie, I want to take you out for breakfast on Sunday, July 29th, after the Poirier fight. And Coach Henry, you're invited too. And Henry, Coach, I know I get messages from you all the time, so I know you're watching. So we love you. So Coach Henry and Eddie Alvarez on the 29th of July in Calgary. Breakfast on us. We will shoot it on the YouTube channel here. Other than that, thank you guys so much. We'll try to do one of these a little more frequently. We let up on it for a while, but the good news is there's a lot of neat stuff to talk about now. Leave any messages. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @RobinBlackMMA, and enjoy the hostilities, my friends.